just been the most incredible inspiration to me, staying here with me and visiting with me here in the studio while we plan our wonderful surprise trip to see Count Pedestrian. And I'm going to ship some of my art in advance to Europe. We're going to put on a big show over there. Yes, 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 you were my inspiration, that and recent events. You see, my dear, I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I suppose you've noticed all this work I've been doing the past few days while you've been here. Between the wine and the music and the song and our wonderful, wonderful conversations, I've been able to belt out a few pieces based on the Murgatroyd serial killer's work. Yes, 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 yes. My next show is going to be based on the Murgatroyd serial killer. Yes. I've thought about doing this collage of the faces and bodies of his victims and stuff, but I thought that would be considered in bad taste. I mean, the families of the victims might object or something. You know how sensitive and finicky people can be. But the art world might very well like it. Who knows? At any rate, I've just simply taken images of the Murgatroyd serial killer, and done different artistic things with them that were just, oh, God, I was inspired. This is going to be a smash hit. I just can't wait until we get to Europe and I have beheld my pieces over there. Jeez, this may be the best show I've ever put on yet. Yes, yes. Blackson does the Murgatroyd serial killer. The Murgatroyd serial killer by Blackson. Ah, yes. We'll get international headlines. I'll be more famous than Andy Warhol at his height. Oh, it's just wonderful, Sharon. It's just wonderful.
I'm just so glad to have a day off from delivering pizza and all. I mean, the tips and stuff. I mean, the tips are totally cool, but it's I need time to skateboard and stuff just to clear my mind and all. Get out of Murgatroyd, get out into the woods down there by the creek. I mean, I like skateboarding those trails. It really clears my head when I can just skateboard, and all. And I love going to the trails are.
Hi, my name is Slendy. I'm Slendy Eel. The Zombie Eel. Yeah, I'm an eel that can talk. I've just been slithering around back and forth down the creek. Some old man with a shotgun was out here threatening me. He thought I was a snake at first until I told him, I'm Slendy Eel. And then he looked at me kind of funny and just turned and walked off, and I slithered back into the creek. That's all I do, I just slither up and down the creek and through the woods. So I'm just definitely ready for adventure. I'm ready to get out of the woods. Thank you.
Whoa. You're like this talking eel, man. This is cool. I'm taking you with me. You're going to my aquarium. Shoot. I'll really be popular with all the girls at school now. I mean, I'll be the only one in high school with a talking eel. I get on the phone and call my friends, man. I'm going to call everybody up and tell them I've got this talking eel. You're fixing to be mine. You're going to be in my aquarium, I'm going to show you off everywhere. You're my
son Eric, Count Pedestrian informed me that in a few days we will be having guests arriving here at the castle. He told me Blatson the artist is flying over with a girlfriend. I want you to be on your best behavior, my son, after all we are guests here you know. And this castle is big enough for all of us. Keep in mind that Blatson used to live with Count Pedestrian for quite some time at his mansion back in Murgatroyd, so perhaps the two of them are seeking a reconciliation of some kind. I am only asking that you be polite to Blatson and whoever the young lady may be who is accompanying him during their stay here at the castle.
And also in international news today, the artist Blatson of the city of Murgatroyd in the United States has announced that he is about to launch a European art exhibit that will move from one major European city to another. First, the exhibit will appear in Paris, France for a few weeks, then Rome, Italy, and then on to another great city to be determined at a later time. The exhibit by Blatson is entitled The Murgatroyd Serial Killer and is based upon exactly what the title implies. Whereas some art critics are already disclaiming the exhibit as sensationalistic exploitation, it remains to be seen what the overall response of the art world will be. In other news today, Vince's stock has begun climbing once again as sales of the new cologne Sledette 3 continues to soar both in the U.S. as well as abroad.
Well, thank God for satellite television and satellite radio. That sniveling little arrogant, insolent snob with his nose in the air, so-called art off my work, coming to Europe on tour with his little art exhibit entitled The Murgatroyd Serial Killer. So he's going to become even more famous and rich off of my work. I got news for him. He'd have been easy to dissect while I was still there in Murgatroyd. I do have my own inspiration. He's been inspired. I'll let him become one of my works of art then. Where to do it, where to do it, where to do it. I did admire Thomas Harris's work, and of course the wonderful, wonderful film adaptation that Sir Anthony Hopkins did. And that was in Italy, of course. Yes. When you took care of that inspector. Where? I really don't want to, being a guest here at Count Pedestrian's castle, it would be important to bloody one of these rooms up. European landmark. That will be the site of Blatson's demise. Yes, indeed. It'll make international headlines. Of course, they won't know it's me, not immediately, of course, unless I decide to somehow inform them later on. At any rate, tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. Time is running out for you, Blatson.
Humilla's son here at CRZY News, and we are now taking you back to the live Senate hearings and to the Energy Time Flux device, and we understand that Senator Devane will be questioning Dr. Reeb Summer, who has been in protective custody since the seizure of the device by federal agencies. And we take you to the hearings now.
So let me get this straight for the record here. this biotech lab with which you're employed, ma'am, not only manufactures artificial life forms using human DNA, such as Flashy the paper doll and this wooden creature which just tore up and destroyed the city of Murgatroyd, but in addition to that, y'all have come into possession of a energy time flux device which we now have seized and have in our possession. Now, I understand that our Dr. Derrickson of Murgatroyd, who has unfortunately suffered from a heart attack and is recuperating, that it fell to your lab to take over the energy time flux device, and that Dr. Gatrick is conspicuously absent from these hearings. Is it correct, ma'am, that you've been employed there for a number of years, and is it correct, ma'am, that your name is Dr. Janet Reebsummer?
Yes, sir, Senator Devane, that is correct. My name is indeed Dr. Jacqueline Reebsummer, and I have been employed with the biotech lab for the past 7 years. I regret to tell you that Dr. Gatrick making an appearance here before this Senate hearing will be impossible, as he is not currently in our present time period. I regret that I am unable to tell you exactly what time period he is in because your Gestapo agents came and seized the time energy flux device, which of course now makes it impossible for me to determine where Dr. Gatrick is. I intend to plead the Fifth Amendment on nay and all subsequent questions which you may direct towards me, Senator Devane. Thank you very much.
Mr. Gatrick, we have had a very, very successful week, very, very good. We manufactured lots of Vincini face cream, and we have sold a lot of Vincini face cream. So, this evening I would like to invite you to take your young lady in the company, me and Judith. Judith is my fidanzato. And she and I are going to the movies tonight, and I would like to have you accompany me with your girl also. We will go and see a movie tonight. So please, Gatrick, come with us. Come with us. I'm buying. I will pay for all of our tickets. Come. I live my life in the shade now. I've gone from the chance to oh man, depression got me down. I'm the brokest man in town. I've gone from riches to rags. By the time you spare a dime, a nickel or a penny will be just fine. I've gone from riches to rags. I will my life in the shade now. I've gone from riches to rags. Oh, man, depression got me down. I'm the brokest man in town. I've gone from riches to rags. By the time you spare a dime, a nickel or a penny will be just fine. I've gone from riches to rags. Welcome to the exciting new game show, Blessings and Curses, where behind every curtain is either something really, really good or something really, really bad.
Tonight CRZY will present the new exciting blues pianist and vocalist from New Orleans, the artist known as DeChardo.
CRZY will be bringing you an incredible new series, Wicked War Tales. You will see the most devastating and catastrophic stories of all-out combat fury.
The actual retail price is
battles that shaped all of the many wars in the world. Smarter, faster, happier, better feeling, better looking. The answer to the joy you have been seeking all your life is in a little pill called Vinci Lax. Yes, that's right. The new Super Ultra Deluxe laxative from Vincini Cosmetics. It will blow your innards out.
Makes limp hair look healthy again. All it takes is a minute from you. And a little kindness.
Ultra Deluxe Soda Pop from Drifties. That's right. Next time you get a drink at Drifties, don't just make it a double. Make it a double. And with the new Super Ultra Deluxe burger, make it a double.
And as a result, your tender thighs are chafed. Whether you have been riding on a bicycle, a horse, a motorcycle, or even driving a taxi cab, Uncle Crud Bucket's Basic Lime Thigh Cream will work wonders on your thighs. Oh yes, it will. You thighs will be grateful. Today, the new art exhibit by the American artist Blatzen, an exhibit entitled The Murgatroyd Serial Killer, opened to record crowds.
Well, I am glad that you arrived here safely. Blatzen, in spite of our past differences, I would very much like for you to be on your best behavior. I have as my guests already Judy Vincini, her son Eric, and his girlfriend Doreen. And I see you have a young lady with you, which I believe you told me on the phone is a former fashion model. Pleased to meet you. Enchanté. So, all of us will gather together in the main dining room for an elegant dinner. So welcome. Welcome to Castle Pedestrian. Well, I would just simply like to propose a toast to everyone here at the dinner. First of all, to our gracious host, Count Pedestrian III. Dear Castle here is absolutely magnificent, Count. It dwarfs that mansion that you had me living in back in Murgatroyd before you changed your mind and, shall we say, evicted me. And my goodness, I had absolutely no idea, Sharon, that you and Judy Vincini already knew each other. I had no idea the two of you were acquainted. Such an interesting little mix here. And you, Eric, the Murgatroyd serial killer, you should be very grateful for my new art exhibit based on you. It's elevating you to historic and legendary stature. Now you won't just be some common serial killer. Why, you'll be worldwide famous. You should thank me for my glory exhibit. It's going to immortalize your work, of which I've always been an admirer, by the way, as sordid and messy and grisly and grim as it is. Anyway, I propose a toast to our host, Count Pedestrian, so let us all raise our glasses and clink. you sniveling little wimp wannabe artist. My girlfriend here, Doreen, was not aware of my other career until you had to blurt your mouth out. And the bitch there in the red gloves, well, that's Sharon Cielo who kidnapped my mom. I'm afraid this little dinner may not turn out as pleasant for the two of you as you two may have expected. You see now, Blatson, you have to deal with me personally. And, dear Sharon, you have to deal with my mom. And my dear mom very definitely has a score to settle. Only out of respect for Count Pedestrian do I spare you right now, Blatson. I'd just as soon chop you to pieces right now with this huge butcher knife. But, seeing as how I don't see the two of you escaping me anytime soon, Mom, you can deal with your former kidnapper, Sharon. Well, I take care of Blatson. But in the interest of polite society and civilization and respect for Count Pedestrian, I suggest we all finish our dinner and our wine first. Then, Blatson, I'll give you a head start. This castle has many, many, many rooms, but I doubt you can run and hide from me forever. It's a big place, but I know every nook and cranny in it. And Sharon, somehow I don't see you outrunning my mom either, so this could turn into a very interesting cat and mouse kind of game. As I say, as soon as the two of you are finished for dinner, I'll give you a head start. Oh, 30, 45 seconds at the very least. Let us remain civilized. There are rules to the game. It's very, very simple, actually. Blatson, you have fallen out of my favor, bandying my name about in such scandalous fashion back in Murgatroyd. I'm afraid you'll receive no protection from me. You're on your own against Eric. Blatson, you're a poseur, a wannabe. Eric, I only ask that you not bloody up my castle. Take Blatson somewhere else if you don't mind. And Judy, do what you will with your former kidnapper, Sharon. Somehow I do not see killing as a sport in which you would take pleasure. A good beating, perhaps, or as there are many secret rooms here in the castle, you have my blessing and permission to hold Sharon as a prisoner here for whatever amount of time you please, just as she held you for a time.
Count Pedestrian, you are the very embodiment of evil. And this Murgatroyd serial killer here. Eric, I thought you were dead. I saw you get shot at that televised wedding and it was announced that you were dead.
My dear Sharon, the rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. Huh. But if the world thinks I'm dead, who am I to argue? Beaucoup de monde. My dear sweet mom here, whom you held hostage, got Dr. Getrick to bring me back to life. Deal with it, Sharon, while my mom deals with you.
Count Pedestrian, it will indeed be my pleasure to put Sharon through what she put me through. Payback is a bitch with a capital B, only this time it is a capital V for Vincini. Hee hee ha ha hee hee ha ha ha. I remember seeing a documentary on television about this great castle. As I recall, there is a dungeon down below left over from the Middle Ages, complete with shackles and chains on the walls. I think that will be a most appropriate holding place for Sharon C.
Well, first of all, the two of you are way out of your league, Blatson, Sharon. You're not part of the superior dominating race. It's Judy and I, we're the upper 1%ers. Both of you are quite disposable. You'll never even be able to aspire to have achieved. My father, Count Pedestrian II, collaborated with the Nazis because he recognized that he was superior. He recognized the superiority of our bloodline. That is why this great castle is adorned with fabulous art from all over Europe. In the interest of fairness, of course, I will give the two of you a head start, but I'm afraid, Blatson, you are quite definitely at Eric's mercy, and Sharon, I'm afraid you are at the mercy of Judy Vincini. So let us all finish off this last bottle of wine, and then let the games begin.
Well, Sharon C.L.O., it would seem that the tables have turned. While my son Eric is chasing Blatson down, as if that wannabe artist could possibly outrun my son, ha, it looks like it's just you and me. The gloves are coming off. Only I'm not the one wearing gloves. But it will be my pleasure to yank those tacky red gloves off of you and slap your skinny arms into those shackles in the dungeon below. You see, my son Eric has already completely scoped out every inch of this castle, and of course he took me on a tour of the place along with his blind girlfriend. So I know exactly where I am going to chain you up and hold you prisoner for a while. Don't worry, I'm not going to kill you, and you will likely be fed better than I was while I was being held by you in that damn warehouse. Yes, Sharon my dear, it is now your turn to be held prisoner.
Judy Vincini, please, I beg of you. Let me go. You are out of your mind. Let me go.
Well, I'm afraid your day has come, your day of reckoning, Blatson. Oh, you're going to be more famous in death than you ever were. I thought about hanging you in the Louvre as a work of art, but I so greatly Scott and the work of Sir Anthony Hopkins, the way that Inspector died in Italy, so that I've decided to simply flash you up and then hang you from the Eiffel Tower. Yes, I'm afraid you're going to be a work of art. You're going to be hanging here from the Eiffel Tower. Goodbye, Blatson.
américain Blatson a été découvert aujourd'hui suspendu au dernier étage de la Tour Eiffel.
The mutilated body of the American artist Blatzen was found today hanging from the top floor of the Eiffel Tower. The following is a memorial tribute to the slain artist Blatzen of Murgatroyd. It consists of footage originally aired by station CRZY during the past several years. The contents of this footage in one way reflects the positions or feelings of the owners and management of CRZ. It is simply a memorial tribute to the artist Blatzen of Murgatroyd from our archives of CRZY aired.
Yes, it is. That wicked slut, Imogen Flakowski, hadn't so viciously attacked my precious little works of art, I wouldn't be sitting here exposing myself to you like I am now. Oh well, life plays some funny tricks sometimes. I turned a few funny tricks myself, oh yes I have. It's your favorite resident artist, Blatzen the artist here, to tell you about my latest art exhibit. Yes, Flashy the Paper Doll is the subject of my show. She's so minimalist. She's so bare bones. She's the ultimate. I'll just let you good people of Murgatroyd figure out what that bodily fluid's going to be. Yes. The next one is going to be called Images of Imogen. And I'm sure she'll love that art exhibit. Oh, yes, she will. And that idiot Imogen Flakowski, who keeps trashing my art. Boy, have I got my revenge planned up for her. I'm sure you're familiar with another artist named Andres Serrano. Well, I'm going to find an old yearbook from back. Yes, I'm here putting together my new art exhibit, and it's called Images of Imogen. I should have eaten a lot more B vitamins before I produced the liquid that your yearbook picture is immersed in. For your vile, disgusting, inane criticisms of my artwork. I've been fending for myself ever since Count Pedestrian kicked me out of his mansion. He went back to Europe because of Lieutenant Skitter's vile accusations.
And now the artist Blatzen has made me the subject of his latest art exhibit. I feel so very, very honored. Wow. This is my very first time to visit an art exhibit, much less one that is based on me. Thank you, skateboarders. Thank you, Blatzen.
Yes. My next show is going to be based on the Murgatroyd serial killer. Yes. I've just simply taken images of the Murgatroyd serial killer, and done different artistic things with them that were just, oh God, I was inspired. This is going to be a smash hit. I just can't wait until we get to Europe and I unveil my pieces over there. So, little kitties, the big bad wolf was on his way to Grandma's house, but then he got lost in the woods and couldn't remember where the Grandma's house was. Kind of like you, Grandpa? Yes, that's right. I guess it's time for me to take another Vincini Focus Fix. Why, without it, I wouldn't remember where I am or who I am or even what any of your names are, little kitties. Now, let's see. Where was I? There we go. I just took a Vinci Focus Fix. Yes. So the big bad wolf kissed Sleeping Beauty, and she woke up and looked in the mirror and said, I'm the most beautiful there ever was. Oh, Grandpa.
Side effects include but are not limited to increased interest in antique furniture, redness and itching of the neck, loss of use of the left hand, blurred vision during daylight hours, chattering teeth, swelling of the inner thighs, extended bouts of constipation followed by sudden diarrhea, wild erratic mood swings. Persons under 45 should not take more than one Vinci Focus fixed tablet per hour. Persons
Whether
over
or
90
not
should take
you
only one
believe in
Focus
the
fixed
weather
every 3 hours.
or not, the eyes have it. Yes, at CRZY roving weather helicopter, we're watching for when it's cloudy. Or not, and the eyes have it. Yes, the eyes of our weather watchers are always watching. So you tune in to CRZY TV or CRZY Radio for the latest weather update.
Journal of Dr. Lawrence Kedrick. May the 1st, 1931. Well, I have been here in the 1930s for 3 weeks now. Landed a job with Vincent Vincini as he is starting up the cosmetic company that will one day become an economic corporate empire. It is so interesting knowing the future, knowing what lies ahead. The temptation to change past events is so very, very real. But I know I must not interfere with the natural flow of events this far back in time. I could alter the future in so many, many untold ways. Hitler could be stopped and World War II prevented. But no one can never be sure of the unforeseen ripple effects of such actions, so it is best not to attempt them. It is so tempting for me to tell Vincent that he will one day father a daughter, Judy, who will become CEO of his company in the future. But I must keep quiet and allow things to progress in their own natural way at their own natural rate. One thing that I can do is document the period, as I will attempt to do with this journal and as I will begin to do by taking photographs. I will save up enough money to buy a camera and I will begin to create a scrapbook of pictures that I will one day share with the world. I still have no way of knowing how long I will be here, but for 3 weeks now there has been no signs of the energy time flux field reappearing in the woods between Murgatroyd and Flattown. I can only hope that back in my own time period of 2016 that nothing has gone wrong with either the energy time flux device nor with Dr. Jacqueline Reeb Summer herself, who is the only one there at the lab monitoring it since Dr. Derrickson suffered a heart attack from which he is hopefully recuperating. So I must make the best of this decade in which I find myself living for who knows how long.
Uncle Frank, now you know I'm not the jealous type, but you've been spending an awful lot of time out there in the backyard with them legs of flashes. And you didn't know it the other day, but I looked out the kitchen window and I seen you bent over. And your hips was just gyrating back and forth, and I noticed them old legs only grew up to the waist, so I hope you got a good explanation for yourself, Uncle Frank. I'd hate to think you've been cheating on me with a pair of paper doll legs out there in the backyard. Hope them legs don't grow into a full-size flashy. I'd hate see what you might do then. Anyhow, I'm watching you. You just remember that, Uncle Frank. I'm watching you. That's it. You got it?
Now, I ain't Suki. We've been married for 50 years. I can't believe you'd be jealous of a dadgum paper doll. And by the way, it ain't just legs out there now. You was right. She done growed into a full-size fleshy. I don't know what we're going to do with her. She started talking up a storm last night, and I said, well, you're free to go and leave anytime you want to. I don't know what paper dolls eat, but we ain't got anything here around the house for you. And of course, the cat and the dog ain't paying no attention to her, and the chickens are scared of her. And I imagine she'll just wander off back to Biotech Lab. And to begin with, she seemed to remember who she was. She said, I'm Flashy the paper doll, and this and that and all. And I just put her and turned around and came back in the house. You know, there wasn't nothing else I could do. I ain't trying to fool with that old Biotech Lab, you know, after the other day when I went down there and they're surrounded by the feds and everything else. So I'm just hoping the neighbors don't see her out there in the backyard. I'm hoping she just takes off and wanders off, and I expect that's what's going to happen, you know. So don't get upset, Aunt Suki, and get over your little jealousy bit. All right? Thank you.
I can honestly say that I am certain. I can honestly say that I am certain. Well, I am certain that I have only regained part of my memory. It just seems like I should remember so much more than just waking up in Uncle Frank's backyard. It seems as if I have a past. I know that I am drawn to the Biotech Lab, but I do not know how or why. I only know that I must go there. And I have memories of a wooden creature, warm memories that would indicate that I have some kind of relationship with this wooden creature. I can also vaguely recall the image of a man, a Dr. Getrick. But I do not know what he is to me or what he means to me. Perhaps if I manage to get to the Biotech Lab, all of my questions will be answered. I only hope that I can regain at least some of my memory. Hopefully all of my memory will come back at some point. But for now, off into the backwoods here along the creek and onward until I reach the Biotech somehow Lab. Try to remember how long I have been away from the Biotech Lab and how I ended up in Uncle Frank's backyard. I also have memories of a skateboarder. I think that his name was certain of it now. The skateboarder's name was definitely Timmy. And he came along after something very bad happened to me. I seem to have repressed the memory of whatever it was that happened to me. I simply cannot remember.
Last week's session, you were telling me about leaving the band, The Emaciated Butterfly. This week, I'd like for you to tell me more about your inferiority complex, as you call it, and about what you did after you left the band, The Emaciated Butterfly. Tell me about the different jobs and activities you engaged in afterwards. Well, Doc, I went from one place to the other, I worked at just one apartment complex as another as a maintenance man, The managers always just sit on the phone and talk all the time, chit-chat and small talk, chit-chat, small talk. And one manager had me pull 200 toilet seats out, and she got upset and angry because I took one of them home. one of the other assistant maintenance men counted all of them, and one of the toilet seats was missing, and so I got written up for that. And then she'd always say, chop, chop, Floyd, chop, chop, Floyd. And she was just constantly criticizing my work. I'd go and I'd do a make ready, and, I'd spend hours getting the apartment ready for people to move in, and she'd come and find one tiny spot of dust in some obscure corner, or maybe she'd find one small light switch that was just, she didn't think it was the way she wanted it to be, and I was a master painter, always been a master painter, and she'd hire these people who can't even paint, people who don't even know how to paint, and she'd put them in some apartment, and then I'd have to go and do twice as much work cleaning up after them, always. And then when I would take a lunch, I was under always pressure to get back. Never had enough time for my lunch hour. Everywhere I would go, they dump salt into my food. They see me coming, they dump salt in the food. Every time I order a salad, it's nothing but lettuce. Half the time I go into a restaurant and the food they serve me is cold. One time I ordered a hamburger, it had 3 pounds of meat, and the bun was the size of a biscuit. I mean, how am I supposed to eat that? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've gotten sick 12 different times in the past 2 years in some overpriced fast food restaurant. I mean, it's ridiculous. I can't even eat out anymore. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And then I had this rent house, I rented to this couple, and they just trashed and tore the place up and moved out owing me $3,000 rent, late charge this, late charge that. They tore up the commode. What can I say? Left a mess. It left complete and total mess, Nobody knows how to do anything anymore. I can't find anybody that can work for me that can do anything. I end up having to waste my time showing and teaching them how to do a job. I could have done the job myself faster and gotten it done perfectly straight the first time without having to train somebody else. And where I worked at an auto parts store, I take 30 seconds to sit down and catch my breath, and then he comes in and says, get your lazy butt up and start working again. I mean, I never even get a 30-second break. Criticized all the time. The wife walks in the lobby, takes one look at me and says, what is he, some kind of a child molester? I mean, I swear to God, that's what the man's wife says right there in front of the public. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Every girlfriend takes me to the cleaners. There's the one girlfriend, she's a gambling addict. She bought $3,000 worth of scratch-offs and lost all of it. Of course, it was my money that paid for the scratch-offs. She'd go to the Sonic and order a double cheeseburger. She'd take all the meat off the double cheeseburger and feed it to her poodle, Come on. I mean, that's the kind of girlfriends I end up with. Had another lazy girl, laid on the couch all the time, wouldn't even get up off the couch long enough to wash dishes, long enough to take a shower, long enough to clean up, long enough to do anything. But yet she wanted me to put gas in her car, buy her cigarettes. But then she wouldn't give me any. Here I am, I'm supposed to provide her a couch to sleep on, free meals every day, gas for the car, cigarettes, and then she won't even put out. I mean, come on. Where do they make these girls? Where do they come from? Anyway, it's my life. It's my life. It's my life, Doc. It's my life. Help me. Help me. It's my life.
This is Murgatroyd television station CRZY, bringing you the latest in news, weather, and excellent programming in the greater Murgatroyd Flat Town.
News Bulletin. Breaking News Bulletin. This is Humilla's son here at CRZY News, and we are about to take you to a press conference at the Murgatroyd police station in which Lieutenant Skitters is about to make an announcement concerning the recent mutilation murder of the artist Blatson in Paris.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Lieutenant Skitters of the Murgatroyd Homicide Division, and I'm here to make several announcements today, several important key elements involved in the recent mutilation slaying of Blatson in Paris, France. First of all, it's going to come as a shock to most everyone here, and I wouldn't believe it myself had I not seen the physical evidence and the information from Interpol, and had I not analyzed the videos myself and looked at the computer analysis. The DNA findings at the crime scene of Blatson's murder positively identified the killer as none other than Eric Niedermeyer, also known as the Murgatroyd serial killer. Now, as all of you know, I was present at the wedding of Les Tomac and Imogene Slakowski, and I saw the Murgatroyd killer, Eric, shot by a sniper. That assailant still remains unapprehended. I personally identified the body of Eric Niedermeyer, and I can tell you he was very definitely clinically dead. So I'm at a loss to give any explanation other than to tell you that the suspect in Paris, France, who is at large, has been positively identified as Eric Niedermeyer. So, in fact, Eric Niedermeyer somehow is still alive. Now, other evidence that has been gathered from the recent warehouse scene where Judy Vincini was held hostage has also developed a person of interest, a former Murgatroyd fashion model by the name of Sharon Cielo. Videos at a small private airport video surveillance shows her in the company of Blackson leaving on a private jet to Europe. Well, we have not established the whereabouts of Sharon Cielo, but she apparently did travel to Europe recently with Blackson. Blackson, of course, now has been murdered, and we do not know the whereabouts of this person of interest in the Vincini kidnapping, this person, former fashion model Sharon Cielo. That is the information that I have. I will be leaving to fly to Paris, France now. I'm sorry, no questions. That is all the information I have at this time. Oh, my gosh. I paid $1 million to hitmen to have this Murgatroyd serial killer shot. But he's not dead. He's still alive and in Europe. There are certain things a man must take care of himself. I should have taken care of him myself. My dear daughter's honor must be avenged. I shall fly to Europe, and I shall take care of the Murgatroyd serial killer once and for all. I will put an end to his vile, vile existence.